Okay, now as you can imagine, this is going to happen 4 times because Cage has 5 shapes. And with the C shape, okay, we are not going to need the long pattern substitution at all. So it's going to be with the other 4 cage shapes, or aged, okay? Like cheese, like me's, aged. So these string shapes are going to be, but there really happens to be 4 of them. This is the 4/5 is part of the 3/4/5, but it's really part of the long pattern, the Lydian. So we've got the Lydian, the Ionian, the Locrian, and the Phrygian. You can look at it that way. They're not easily identified, but this is, the E is certainly part of the E string shape. The C is part of the C string shape, and this just means extra short. So XS, you look at that, oh my God, XS, what is this? Is this a new kind of system? No, it just means extra short. Okay, nothing up my sleeve. S is short. It's assumed that it's one string, so there's no S1 in front of it, or 1S, or whatever. So this is part of the C string shape. Let's put the string shapes up. Okay, so here are the string shapes that we're talking about. Now these are short string shapes, so we can only talk about the bottom 2, and then we'll put the long one there. So let's talk about the 3/4. It's the C extra short. Here's our C string shape right here, 3/4/5 in the short patterns. Remember, the all-including short long pattern, which is essentially the long pattern, actually includes the short patterns. So let's just cover them here because I didn't get the all-encompassing. You've seen the fellow who has the ad about the one pattern that's the one all pattern. That is what it is. It's the same thing. It's like 2 different guys saying, I've got a major scale, that's the answer to everything. And it is. Diatonic scale is the answer to everything. The keyboard does not change. That's why it's arranged the way it is. No, nobody's gonna go underneath a piano and get a jack and put that jack in between the string bar and jack it up and say, look, I'm tuning your piano, because it's going to stay the same. The intervals are going to stay the same. Just nuts. So the E extra short comes from here. Is going to be, instead of 7√2, we're going to shortcut out and not play that 2 because it's doubled. Okay, and the same thing is going to happen with the long patterns. We know the long patterns. Okay, here they are. Here's the long patterns. So see, we have the short patterns are also part of the long patterns. So the C4 short, okay, I keep the C in there now. Where's our C4 short? Okay, I didn't have the C there, but it's supposed to be there. Okay, so I have the C here. And the reason why I'm putting the C there and the R, of course, we need the E shape there, is because it's part of the C, okay, and also the 4 is the 4th of the C in the C box. We talked about this last lesson. So we're going to give that C back its label. Here's your C, and that 4 is actually in the C box, so we're going to keep that C label there, but we're going to look at this as the 4th. So it's not such a strange partial pattern, because the 4th is always going to be off of the root. It's not quite there. So same thing with the E. There should be an E there. I don't have time to do that right now. And so that'll be part of the root 2/3 long pattern. So these are our long patterns, okay? 4, 5, 6, root 2/3, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Alright, so we're moving right along in this segment, so let's see if we can get somewhere. Here we go with everything we've just talked about, And now we're going to actually implement it. So this is the long pattern open chord region with the doubled notes. Okay, so in other words, the notes are doubled. So look at this 3 here. Okay, look at this 3 here. It's on the 4th string from the bottom of this diagram. Okay, and the diagram is orientated like this, not like this, because that's when I'm playing. From the eye point, that's the bottom. The diagram's actually orientated like this. So the 6th root, let's say in that G, is 6, 7 root right there. 6, 7 root on the bottom there. Now, if we just go into the long pattern, okay, so remember we have our long pattern right here. I don't have to show you another diagram of it. I realize that because the long pattern is right here. So always leading into the very long pattern. I will give you that. Okay, so it makes it easier. So we're looking at the G. Okay, as you can see, you know, if I stack this on top of that, we're gonna have what looks like the G thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that up there. Hopefully it'll lead right in there. I think the 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it has to start exactly at the same place. You know, you can't put it over anymore. Okay, because the fretnut would be here. So we know where that's shape fitting that I just decided whether this was going to go over again. It doesn't, because the long pattern goes off to the right. Okay, as you play it. So now let's look at this 6, 7 root here. We're starting here, 6, 7 root, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we'll play a G pattern starting from, let's say, the capo here. It's like a class in squeezing this capo. Okay, so we go 5, 6, 7. No, I mean we're starting on the G, which is 6, 7 root here. So it's 6, 7, root, 2, 3, 4. You see how we have the short patterns leading up to the long pattern? That's what's happening here. Now, of course, I can play from there 5, 6, 7, root, 2, 3, right? Now, what happens from that 2, 3? I could slide into a D shape and start a G shape from that string and have to warp up. Okay, like that. So we'll start with that one more time. 6, 7, root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2. So we end up in a if we started in a G shape, we end up in the next shape over in caged, which is an E shape, 7, root 2. There's our root G. Almost missed it. But this stuff is basic. It's not going to change. Okay, so it's just like, you know, where did I put my keys? You know, that doesn't mean your keys don't exist. That doesn't mean the key concept doesn't exist. It means, where did you put your key? You know, are you thinking about what you're doing? So, as you can see here, there's also a doubled 3 there. So let's hit that doubled 3. Okay, now, here, same note. I've often considered, I'll just double that. If you ever thought of that, I'll just double that and move on, you know. There, I've hit the open string. No, that's not good enough. So it took me quite a while to realize that this shortcut, this cutout to the pattern again, happens on the same string every time, and it's the tuning warp is involved.